Hello. I don't seem to be in sync with myself, so sorry about that. Close your eyes or something. I am doing a Q&A. I said my book Fortune Box is coming out on the 1st of June, which is tomorrow. Ask me stuff, ask me anything. It doesn't necessarily have to be book related. Um, Lisa Cantorell very kindly posted my request on Facebook, so thanks, Lisa. And other people commented on YouTube and Twitter, and I am by nature very disorganised. So if I have missed out your question, I'm really sorry. Get to me and I'll answer it somehow, some way. Okay, so let's begin. Right. First one, Ben Arzate. I know how to say your name now. What were your biggest influences for Rainbows Suck? I guess, by the way, the window's open, so you're going to hear loud stuff. Okay, what were your biggest influences for Rainbow Suck? I guess things like I love art. I love going to galleries, and the different styles of art fascinate me. So I think the wide variety out there and um, the different things that different galleries look for is a thing that fascinates me. But the thing that mostly fascinates me is art that is involves a human being becoming an artwork. Like I can't remember the name of the Italian artist in the 60s who signed a woman as an art piece. I find that very interesting. And also Warhol kind of created proto reality stars. So you see reality stars now, and it kind of began with Warhol. I do find that really interesting. He turned people like Edie Sedgwick into art pieces, and so on. So, sorry, excuse my art waffle there. Not very informative, but it's what interests me. And also rainbows. I clearly love rainbows. Which I forgot about this one. Which would be more embarrassing, getting crabs or getting AIDS? I think if I got AIDS, I'd be probably more worried about the impact. Crabs is well embarrassing, so I'm going to be more embarrassed about crabs. John James, why did you tell me about Blowfly Girl? I'm very sorry, John James. I'm sure there are many people who regret me mentioning Blowfly Girl. If you don't know who Blowfly Girl is, it's a girl who is into rotting stuff, I guess, and it gets kind of graphic. If you Google it, there's a couple of blog posts where she goes into detail. Just be warned, obviously, it's kind of gross, but I don't know. I found it interesting. I find stuff like that interesting. Next questions are from Lisa herself. What do you think is the most British thing about you? My love of tea and cake, I think. I don't believe that this is a British thing. I think this is a stereotypically British thing, and it can be anyone of any place who has this, but I am polite to a fault. Like, I won't say I often won't say that I would rather not do something or something like that. I'm getting better with age, but it's still something I have a problem with. While you were writing Rainbow Suck, did you feel happy or sad, or was it changing depending on the scene? It did change depending on the scene. Mostly I just felt very stressed because I was doing it as a part of Garrett's writing workshop, Garrett Cook, and I was doing 2,000 words a day, I usually do 1,000 words a day, but this was like a real kind of like get it done sort of thing. So that was a lot of pressure. Other question: what's your favourite writing spot? I like to write in a pub that's not far from me. I like Diet Coke on tap. I don't really like proper Diet Coke, so there suits me, and I can be really nosy. I am so nosy. I can spy on people. Devin Anderson says, I just want to know which of her books she would recommend I read first. Been meaning to pick up one of her books. Fortune Box. I'm not just saying this because it's out tomorrow. It's actually, I feel, the one that I've really found where I am and what I'm supposed to be doing. So I would start there. Liam Shardlow. I'm in need of a quest item, an unholy tome of unrest and anguish. Can you make a good suggestion? Quest item. I hear Chipotle is a place. And now I'll go to my screenshots, which hopefully I've gathered all of them. Number 1, a Hellenic pagan on my YouTube channel said, what led you to create a YouTube channel? Number 2, what led you to people like ContraPoints? ContraPoints is a political YouTuber, but she's very informative. I like people like her and the one janitor and Sean and so on, people like that. Leftists. Although I do watch a lot of right-wing stuff just because, as I said, I am the nosiest person and I just want to know what they're saying. Okay, I started a YouTube channel because I wanted to do something, but I wanted to do something quite innocuous. So I thought, if I talk about what books I like and things like that, that's, I can handle that. It's not me waffling about myself too much, or anything majorly I don't know, like controversial or whatever, other than whether Lovecraft was racist or not. I kind of usually just talk about what books I like and stuff. So, and ContraPoints I discovered through, I don't know, I'm not sure how I found those channels. I think it was just, I was nosing at some right wingers and I think they mentioned ContraPoints or something, so I thought that sounds good. So yeah. Okay, next one. April Sarah. I like her YouTube channel. She talks about books and things like that. It's very soothing and sweet. What is the most strange and bizarre thing that has ever happened to you? Also, I've already told you this, but I love that cover. Oh, that was that was the Kindle cover I've got. Not sure if I got it to hand. I'm sorry, I'm obsessed with showing this thing off. Most strange and bizarre thing that has ever happened to me. I have had a lot of, like, seriously, if I told people everything odd that has happened to me, I would sound like I was lying. And I know everyone says that. Everyone goes, oh, I'm so wacky. And, like, honestly, I think I'm a magnet for oddity. I'm a one-woman sitcom. But the most fun one, and not anything like too awful or too strange or drug related, is when I went for a wee in a field once, and it is kind of drug related actually, because I went for a wee in a field and felt something very odd, and I thought, someone's touching me up in the middle of a field. What is going on? And I freaked out completely and turned around, and a cow was standing behind me, head lowered, with they've got really long grey tongues, licking my bottom. So that's a little tale for you there. Dane Reeds says, what do you think more traditional authors can learn from Bizarro authors and the Bizarro genre? Well, there's there's a lot of different varieties. It's, as I've said before, it's kind of an umbrella term. So you're going to get different things from different people and different styles and so on. But I guess you could usually learn something about a person's subconscious, there's often a magic realism element, which is often taking something that the writer is concerned about and exploring it in a real world way. Like, say, if someone's worried about not being pretty, I don't know, all the mirrors can turn into pigs. I don't know. Do you know what I'm saying? Right. Also, you can get political ones and satirical ones, and you can sometimes make you think about things in a different way, like maybe a political situation or something from someone's point of view, that kind of thing. Well, where have I gone? I've skipped something. Lucas, not a question, but I love your personality. You are so kind. Thank you, Lucas. That's very sweet of you. And I included it because I'm vain. S.E. Casey. Will this book make me cry? If yes, why? If not, why not? I don't think it's going to make you cry, but I did try to put a lot of real fears, concerns and thoughts I had. I would say it's still whimsical. I can't remember who said it, but someone once said that my books were like malicious whimsy. But I wanted to be more. I wanted it to be more grounded in real fears and worries that I have, and that felt right. And I think, for the time being, at least, is where I'm going to go for now. Bo Chappell, who was the winner of the giveaway and got a free copy. Where did the spark for this book come from, and what personal gift would you be so amazed to receive in the mail you'd second guess if it was cursed? Bonus, how would it be? The spark for the book. Oh, do you know, actually, I was reading Thomas Ligotti's The Red Tower, which is a short story online, and I thought about it, and there was one element which really intrigued me, and it was a bit where this spooky tower, the whole story is just describing this spooky tower and the different things that it does, and there's one bit where it sends out packages, like presents, to local people, and when they open it, there's like a creepy, disturbing thing in it, and it doesn't do it, like, that's all it does, but it got me thinking, and then it was one of those sort of stereotypical cheesy late night inspiration type things where I kind of opened my eyes and went, a thing that sends out, a tower that sends out, parcels to different people, and each story can be a different person that receives this parcel that does something different, which is why I called it Tower Limited, because I was inspired by the Red Tower. And what gift would I be amazed to receive? Well, aside from like lifelong book deals, no, we'll go. Why not that? Lifelong book deals. We'll always get loads of money for book deals, and I can have my own home cinema and watch silent films and that, and turn into Norma Desmond and get distracted from writing again. But I just end up being sucked into the cinema screen into the 1920s. Joanne Howe says, okay, what makes the best springboard for a story? An image, an emotion, a dilemma, a mystery, a line of dialogue, or something else? Any of those things, all or any of those things, I guess. I'm not like, I don't, for me, it can be anything. Like, it can be often something that Bill says. He inspires me a lot. Like, he'll say something funny, and then that will make me think about, oh, what if this, or what if that, or again, like this, I read the story and the image of that, gave me ideas and stuff. Leo X Robertson, number 1, what's your novella about? Number 2, writer goals. Oh, let's do one at a time. What's my novella about? Well, I've just said it's a Tower Limited surprise packages, send out different weird magical things to different people. Each story is the result of a different gift, and sometimes it works out okay and sometimes it really doesn't. So that's what that is. 2, writer goals, the home cinema. 3, favourite indie books / mags of late. What have I just read? I really like Andrew J. Lambie. I found his book. Oh, what is it called? Circus of the Flesh or something. I found it in the Big Green Bookshop when I did a reading there with Laura Lee Barr and Chris Meekings. I don't want to turn into a name dropper, I'm sorry. So yeah, I found that in there, and I like his kind of weird sideshow mind dribble. And also, I really do like Lisa Cantorell's stuff. Cartoons in the Suicide Forest. I love that book. I really like it, genuinely. The stories in it are darkly sensual and strange. Oh, I hate thinking on the spot. What else have I read? I've read tons of stuff and I cannot remember anything. I don't know. I'll probably message about it instead. Number 4, your pitch for Dr. Foster season 3 plot. Right, okay, me, Leo and Gary Buller have got a thing where we just go on about Dr. Foster. I'm not entirely sure how it began, but on Twitter we always tweet each other about Dr. Foster. It's this really bad British TV drama which is just totally over the top and unbelievable and ridiculous, and it's just become a thing between us that we'll somehow bring it into a conversation. So my idea for Dr. Foster this time, it's about a lady who is a doctor and she finds out her husband's cheating, and it's just way over the top. So she gets back together with Simon, discovers that he's cheating again, and her rage tears a fabric through space and time and brings forth all of the unpleasantness from every dimension that you can ever consider, and every person from then on is like a deformed hybrid of themselves, but Simon gets away scot-free, he's fine. Okay. I think that's that. Shay Lowery, what is your biggest inspiration? Yeah, it can be anything. anything. It can be something I read, something I see, something that Bill says. It's often something that Bill says. Yeah, it can be anything. Dreams are a good one. Gary Buller isn't about Dr. Foster, surprisingly. If you received a parcel from the company in your book, what would you like it to do? I would like it to create a kind of clone of myself that purely just does writing, that loves writing, because I think I'm an anomaly in that I love writing once I get going, but the idea of it often makes me go, oh. So if I've got one that doesn't mind, like, actually the initial sitting down to do it, that can just do all the writing and I can do other stuff, which is not the attitude. M.R. Tapia. How does the bizarreness in your first published story compare to your most recent publication? My first story was an erotica. I used to write a lot of erotica. I still sometimes do, but that was kind of how I got started. And it wasn't that weird. It was demonic. It was like, what was it? What's the, where you summon the devil or whatever, like a satanic thing with people writhing around or whatever, one of them that you go to on a Tuesday. Also, what does the royal wedding mean for the future of humanity? I think it means that there will be a ton of headlines about they've named their child this, they've named their child that, they have gone on holiday together, oh wonderful, they've taken their first steps, magnificent, let's have every single paper report the exact same thing. Not that I'm bitter, I don't want to crap on anyone's wedding or whatever. Danny Swain. Do your fingers taste of anything? One of mine tastes like beetroot. Don't know why, always did. Mine kind of tastes like Lush lip balm. Sponsor me. Andy King. What is your fiction for beyond pure entertainment and escapism? What subtext are you interested in, and do you have reoccurring themes? Which two authors would you say have been your greatest influence? Blimey. What are your most surprising or less obvious influences and why? Okay, I'll start with what is my fiction for beyond pure entertainment and escapism? So, sorry I burped. So, like I said, I have started more than ever before putting my own fears, concerns, and maybe even some political thoughts into my work. You kind of can't really escape it anyway, but I've probably started doing it more. Not always, but there's an element of things in there often. What subtext are you interested in, and do you have reoccurring themes? I do often have something art related, because that is such a big part of my interest, and Bill's an artist, my best friend's an artist, we go to galleries, and so that's often in there. Which two authors would you say have been your greatest influence? That's really hard. Well, like, I love Neil Gaiman, and I know that he's not particularly bizarre or weird or whatever, but I've just loved Neil Gaiman's stuff for so long that he can't not be an influence, I've recently discovered Junji Ito as well, and I'm a big new fan. I really like Junji Ito, and again, Margaret Atwood is I've loved her books for ages, so there's got to be an influence in there as well. That's kind of all I can think of at the moment. Yeah, there's bound to be loads more, but you know. Yeah, less obvious influences. Probably that's probably less obvious. Maybe apart from Junji Ito, they're probably less obvious. I think that is it. I think that is it. So thanks very much, everybody. I enjoyed that. Talking about myself is fun. Maybe I'll do it again someday. So yeah, thanks. Buy my book. Link in description, etc. Okay, bye.